Marcus closed the door behind him and took a deep breath. The cool dampness of the rain slipped in through the weathered wooden window frames and brought with it the sharp scent of moss and freshly washed asphalt. The soft white moonlight filtered through the threadbare curtains and fell on the scratched parquet floor, tracing each crack in the wood like living lines. Standing still, with hands buried in the pockets of his wool coat, Marcus turned to glance at the dark hallway leading upstairs. The first knock on the door felt like a sign that whispered this house was not as empty as he had believed. But that was only the first night. Footsteps, soft and getting softer, danced over the worn wooden boards. The rhythm they played had no identity, but seemed to beckon him upward. Leaning his head out the window, Marcus spotted a faint yellow light shining from the upstairs window, which had been empty for years. A hand rested on the old wall thermometer. The needle pointed exactly to the freezing mark, broken again, reading wrong as always. Still, the chill was real. A sudden shiver ran through his heart with the drop in temperature. Then a delayed drip of water echoed from the ceiling, as if each drop called his name.
Marcus, Marcus, Marcus.
Eyes closed, he took a deep breath. The damp scent of rain brought back a strangely sweet memory after a bitter day. Once in college, he had been badly beaten up and left sprawled on the ground. Then it had started to rain. Blood, wet soil, moss. The smell of it had seeped into his soul, and somehow he had liked it. Climbing the stairs with soft, deliberate steps, Marcus watched the shadows fade and reappear with each ascent. Walls seemed to breathe around him. Echoes of his own footsteps resonated through the house's ribs, hollow and haunting. Pausing briefly, a sense of not being alone washed over him. At the far end of the corridor, a narrow, white shadow that looked like an elongated hand danced on the wall. Approaching closer caused it to vanish, leaving only a long, dark tunnel of hallway. Gripping the cold doorknob of the upstairs apartment, Marcus pushed it open. The door creaked with a dry groan. A misty fog hung suspended in the air. In one corner atop a broken table lay an old dust-covered leather notebook. Bending over, he brushed away the dirt on the cover and read, Elena's notes, year 1943. A catch formed in his throat. Elena had never lived in this house. Their meeting had taken place in 1990 in a small restaurant. Born in 1963, she could not possibly have left journal entries dated nearly 20 years before her birth. Vision dimmer than before, Marcus hurried downstairs to retrieve a flashlight from his belongings. Returning upstairs, he illuminated the yellowing, brittle pages. Some bore coffee-colored blotches, while others were scratched and nearly illegible. Pages flipped until a passage stopped him cold. Rain. Always rain. Every night, I hear the footsteps. It's as if someone waits for me upstairs. The handwriting was delicate and precise. Marcus stared at the final sentence. Maybe it wasn't her handwriting. But then why did it feel so familiar? The notebook, with every word, whispered deeper truths. Understanding of the past, the house and Elena herself began to shatter and reshape. Why had Elena carried these memories? Why did the walls feel like they remembered? Returning to the very first page, Marcus froze at the date, July 14th, 1943, solar calendar. Seeing July 14th struck him. This date was his own birthday. A throbbing ache filled his chest. Unsure whether he was truly alive or merely alive within someone else's memory, he realized this story had been written long before he arrived, with him destined to be its final chapter. Marcus switched off the flashlight. A voice echoed from the hallway.
Marcus.
He stopped, listened. The voice came again.
Marcus.
He stepped forward. The notebook was still in his hand. With each step, his heartbeat grew louder. He reached the end of the hall. The door was half open. He reached out, pushed it open. Everything started from here.